And depending on what you've done already, like I don't know if you've sort of been up and about yet today, or if this might be the first thing that you're sort of stepping into today, you might want the support of your back of your chair. You might want to use it to help you be supported, and that's fine. You might want to sit a bit forward towards the edge of your chair. You might want to take it a little bit of both throughout the session today. Um, but I'm going to use the back of the support. I'm going to sit a little bit further back today, just so more of my bum is got something underneath it. And then with my feet, I'm kind of landing them roughly underneath my knees. So not really close together, roughly hip distance apart. You could turn the toes out a little bit if that feels comfortable, more comfortable for your pelvis and your hips, or your toes could be just facing straight ahead. Some people like to close their eyes when we first start to settle in. Others like to keep them open and perhaps just sort of taking your gaze away from the screen if you can, and just taking them to focus on another point in the room. In yoga, we call that a drishti, a focal point, which we use to just sort of concentrate and bring the awareness to one point. And then just allow your body to really arrive in the chair. Just sort of let it be a bit heavy for a minute if you can. So resisting that sort of temptation to really be rigid and sort of tight, and then just sort of feel everything sink down a bit. Don't be afraid to let the chair really take your weight here. And we start with just bringing our attention to our breathing. We won't change it at this point. We will do a little bit of more intentional breathing at the end of our movement. But right now, we will just begin to focus on our breath in sort of in the way that it's already breathing without you doing anything different. You might want to take your hands onto your tummy or your chest if you like to feel the movement of your breath with your hands. I will sometimes focus on the sound of my breath as a little way of connecting to it. And I would love for you just to notice what there is to notice. Is your breath slow today? Is it fast? And if it feels uncomfortable at any point, to focus on your breath. So if the breath is feeling challenging already, then you can always be like, no, I've had enough. I'm going to take my attention to feeling of my feet on the ground, or I'm going to really focus just on that plant over there on my windowsill. You can take your attention away from your breath as well if you need to. And for the next couple of rounds, we're going to breathe in through the nose if we can. And then we're just going to let the exhale out through the mouth. So we're almost going to sigh it out. So the breath comes in. And then we just sort of let it escape through the mouth. Might be quieter than mine. And do that just twice more on your own. Just really letting the breath sort of wash away. Good. And then last one. And if you've perhaps had your eyes closed, you might just start to let them blink open, take a little look around. And you might want to, sorry, that was my doorbell downstairs, if you picked it up. You might just want to readjust your position. And that readjusting of your position is welcome anytime. I'm often kind of fidgeting because I start off comfortable and then I do something and then I feel like I need to move again. So let that just happen when you need to. We're going to start just moving the body with the breath a little bit. And we're going to start with a movement, just a really kind of gentle flowing movement of the arms and the shoulders. At any point, you can let the arms rest. You could take a little go and then have a rest if you want to, or we've sort of got two elements to the movement with the arms. You might just pick one of them if they're feeling better for you. You could always just also visualize the movement if you're feeling like you want to let the arms rest, but you want to kind of still have the sort of benefit of moving with our breath. So our inhale is going to just lift the arms up sort of in front of us. And we're going to bring the hands then together. Now, this could be much higher than mine, but I'm going to keep mine kind of head level. If you like to reach higher, you absolutely can. So we inhale and we reach the arms up together, and then we exhale, just bring them back towards our chest. Or you might be kind of resting them here. As you inhale, we're just going to send the arms out wide as though you're going to receive a big hug. And then you're going to exhale, and they're just going to come back down, either onto your lap or down by your side. I'm just going to check the chat because I think we just had a little message pop in there.
Yes, I saw that.
Oh, that's Rachel, not feeling so good today, going to head off, bless her.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So we'll do a few kind of together where I'll cue us, and then what I might do is just be a bit quieter because we probably all breathe and move at different paces, and I don't want anyone to feel like they've got to keep up with somebody or they've got to slow down to keep up with the rest of them. So we'll go together a few rounds. So we'll breathe in and the arms will raise up. Our top, they're just going to come together. We're going to exhale, draw them back through the middle of the body towards the chest. On our next inhale, we're going to send them wide. And that's wide, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here. And then you're going to exhale, and they're just going to sort of gently float back down towards the side of the body. Lovely. Keep it going. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in, opening up. And exhale, float them down. Good. Breathing in, lifting the arms any amount. We could just go from lap to chest. Exhale, the hands just settle. Inhale, they perhaps widen, you open up through the chest. Exhale, they float. And you might take just a couple more rounds at your own pace. You might make it smaller. We might be sticking with just sort of 1/2 of that movement. Could be nice just to keep the hands at the chest. Lift them gently on the inhale. Lower them on the exhale. Doesn't matter how big or small the movement is. What we're kind of putting together, sort of really helping ourselves to focus on what we're doing in the moment, and that's really the purpose. Amazing, everyone. Next time you get to the end of that cycle, wherever you are, you might keep the hands here. You might keep 1 or 2 hands just on the chest, or you might release your hands just all the way to your lap. And just sort of notice how you feel. And that can be like a really easy thing to do sometimes, because sometimes how we feel is like raging, it's unignorable. And sometimes it can be hard because perhaps how we feel is a bit more distant away from where we are at.
It's a pleasant flowing exercise, isn't it?
It is nice. Yeah, it's lovely. And I really like I like making things flow because you can really tap into your pace, how big or small something is.
Yes.
We are always flowing, aren't we? We have some days where we feel a little better, and we have some days which, for no rhyme or reason, we're not as up as we were the day before. And I think it just is a nice way of kind of
Yeah.
following.
Bringing it about again.
Yeah, finding a little bit of rhythm. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's just take the shoulders. Now, you could be hands on the thighs here, or hands could come to the shoulders if that's a sort of comfortable, not an awkward position for your hands, your wrists, your elbows. And let's just roll your shoulders in circular motions, sort of up and back away from our chest. So it might look a little like this. You might have hands on the shoulders. If the circle motion is not so available, it might just be that there is a slight lift up of the shoulders and a slight drop down of your shoulders. So just make it your own. And again, perhaps we've got that breath kind of as we roll the shoulders, we're breathing in. And as they settle back down, the breath is leaving the body. Nice. So making very small movements today in places that we might be holding tension, just with the sort of aim of just freeing those bits of the body up a little bit, finding a bit of calm and letting the mind sort of be with us rather than off elsewhere. Good. And you might want to take those circles forward if you were circling. So kind of rolling them slightly forward feels a bit more awkward that way. Sort of inhale as you lift the shoulders upwards, and then as you let the shoulders come back down, just letting the breath out. Trying to sort of resist making the biggest movements that you can. Trying to take care of the shoulders, the neck, maybe even the upper back as well. Good. We'll do one more in that direction, and then we'll just let the shoulders rest. Maybe this time as the hands pop down on the lap, you're just going to turn the palms up as though you're kind of going to receive a gift or a present from someone. So palms turned up, backs of the hands resting on the legs or in the lap or maybe in your hip creases. And it's almost as though you could imagine that somebody's come and popped like little paperweights in the sort of crease of your elbows, so that sort of you could imagine how that might feel. It might sort of gently draw the shoulders sort of out and away from up by our ears. And then from here, just take a really kind of slow, with the tip of your nose or the tip of your chin, so a really slow sort of rainbow shape, gently from left to right. Keeping that idea of paperweights in your elbows, so keeping the shoulders quite low and relaxed. And just sort of taking the head gently from one side to the other. Slower the better with the neck, always. And you might want to keep the eyes open, or if you tend to feel a bit motion sickness or feel a bit funny when the head moves and the eyes follow, if it feels a little funny, you might close them. So we've got lots of space in the back of the neck still. We're not sort of dropping the head back and compressing the neck. Once you've done a few that way, you can take and sort of draw the bottom half of that circle, just going from left ear towards the right ear. And again, we're not going to let the chin come all the way down to the chest. We're going to try and keep some space between them. I always get lots of little clicks in my neck. Really nice. Let's take 2 more in that head roll, gentle, and then let's just bring the head back to the middle. Take your time, there's no rush. And when you do come back to the middle, again, just check in. So see if something wants to wriggle or adjust, or you need a sip of water or tea or something. Like, just keep checking in with where you're at and how you're feeling. And then what we might do with the legs, we'll just sort of drop the movement focus down the body a little bit now. You might just want to turn the toes out a little bit and slightly widen your stance. So I say that, I've only really taken my feet out to kind of like 11 and 1 o'clock if you were looking at a clock face. I'm not going any wider than that. And the toes have just slightly turned out a little bit. And that's basically just so I feel a little bit more stable. So if we take the feet a bit wider, generally we've just got that wider base, we hopefully feel just a little bit more grounded. And we're just going to take the hands, sort of slide the hands from the tops of the thighs down towards the knees. So let's just take a couple, sort of sliding them and letting your body just inch forward as you slide towards the knees. Feel the weight sort of shift into the front of the pelvis, and then just slide them back and find the back of your chair again, perhaps. Good. So we're sliding the hands forward, just tipping the weight slightly into the front of the pelvis. We're not going to fold the spine. We're going to keep the spine nice and long, and then sliding back. Really nice, everyone. Let's just keep doing a couple of these and see how you feel with your breath. Do you like to exhale as you slide forward with this one? Or does it feel more natural to breathe in as you slide forward and breathe out as you return to seated upright? There's really no right way. It's not a wrong way. It's just something might feel more natural than others for us. Good. And then we're just going to change it. So what you might want to do is bring either both hands over to one leg. Now, if you feel like, so I've sort of, my hand is sort of clashing, my arm is sort of clashing with my belly a little bit there. I'm not going to make my belly disappear, but what I'm just going to do is sort of just gently kind of move it so that my hand can reach my thigh a little bit better. You can always just sort of tuck bits, sort of gently move things. Not, they're never going to move fully out the way, but we might just adjust them a little bit. And then same again. So just slide your hands down towards the knee and slowly back up. So you can feel that you've slightly turned your spine. So what we might feel here is if we're sliding over the top of our left leg, we might feel a little bit more of a stretch through the right side. Again, we're not going to sort of go so far forward that we're letting the spine fold or kind of lean. We're keeping everything nice and long. We're just playing with the side of the body. Good. And then just coming back to the top of that left leg and perhaps keeping your right hand on the top of that left leg. And then just letting your body, your spine, your waist, your chest and your shoulders gently turn towards the left. So let's maybe breathe in, and then as we exhale, let's just gently turn. And then the left hand might catch the side of your chair. It might come gently behind your back. And just take a couple of breaths there. Maybe you can relax your shoulders a little bit in that twist. Maybe you can let your belly really expand a bit more with your breath in. And then very gently release. Try and release with control, just bringing it back as slowly as you went into it. All the way, so this time your chest is facing the front again, and then you're just going to reset both hands on the legs. Cool. So we'll take the other side. We might feel different on this side. So kind of being aware of, we're going to go slow, we're going to go real small just to see how it feels. Hands maybe coming over to the top of that right leg. But you could do it without the hands sliding. You could just turn your body a little bit and take a little lean. Whenever you're ready, just starting to slide towards that right knee and sliding back. Find your breath, whether it's inhaling as you slide or exhaling. Or whether you're like, Meg, as long as I'm breathing, I'm not going to worry about when it's coming. That's fine. I'd much rather that. So I can feel that my left side of the body is just so much tighter here. It feels very different on this side as I slide away. Good. And let's doing one more. Slide towards the knee. Draw it back. And then just keeping that left hand perhaps on the thigh if it was already there. And letting your belly, your ribs, your chest and your shoulders just gently twist towards the right side of your room. That right hand might find the back of the hand. Sometimes I rest on my back or my hip. Sometimes I'll just grab hold of the bit of my chair just for a little bit more support. And then we're going to take 2 breaths in. Maybe you take advantage of that big sigh out through your mouth here if that feels nice. And then again, just as slowly as we came into that twist, we're going to release back. So trying to really go gradually, letting your body have a chance to return back to center. And then I really do, like after a little twist, I always do feel like I want a little wriggle. So you might just draw a little circle with your spine, your torso. You might like a couple of little cat-cows, very gently opening through the chest. And then just tucking your pelvis as though you're trying to tuck it underneath your belly and rolling through, dropping the chin slightly. Just finding something that feels good. Just going to have a little sip of water. Lovely, everyone. Good, are we all right? Good. You might want to keep the feet where they are. They might want us to sort of scooch back to where they were a little bit more hip distance apart. You might want to move your bum a little bit. So I'm going to grab my big cushion. Now, if you've got a cushion that you've brought to class, you might want to grab it. A blanket works really well because we're sort of going to roll it sort of so it's like a nice big wedge. And we're going to, if we've got something, we're going to sort of bring it up sort of snug against the tummy. So we can kind of rest our sort of arms. They can sort of flop over. You can play the piano or something. And again, if we haven't got this, it's all good. What I like about having something here, because we're just going to take a little fold forward essentially, and we've done forward folds in the chair without something before, so there is no better option. But what I like about using something like a cushion or a blanket is a couple of things. It stops us folding quite so far. So if we naturally could fold further, but we perhaps don't want to. It's very difficult, isn't it? If your body can, we know that it's hard to sort of rein it back in. So it can provide like a sort of barrier to stopping you folding as far. What it can also do is sort of give you some extra support. So if we're folding forward, say I was folding sort of here, I've got all this sort of space underneath my arms and underneath sort of in the front of my belly. So my body is folded forward, but it is still holding itself up to a certain extent. When I've got something in between me and my forward fold, I'm able to kind of rest into it a little bit, which can be a really nice sort of relaxing place for the body to be if we've sort of given it a bit more support. So we can sort of lean in, it can be in the same kind of shape, but with a bit more support so the body can kind of let go a little bit. So that's just why we're playing with it this month, but it is absolutely not a requirement. So let's sit up as tall as we can for a minute. Maybe it even feels a bit uncomfortably tall for a second because we're going to have a nice fold in a minute. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, just start to fold forward. So if you've got that cushion, I kind of always kind of go arms over, and then my arms might just sort of hang over the front. They might come to my legs. And again, I'm not going to drop the head fully, but I am going to just gently tuck the chin if that feels good. I just turn to the side. You can maybe see a little bit better that we've got this really sort of mild C shape. It's not a really big fold like we're trying to fold down towards the toes. It's just letting that back line of the body be a little bit softer and more released. So it really can look like that, like that, like that. It really doesn't matter where you are. We're going to take a big breath in. And then as we breathe out, using your hands maybe on the thighs or hands pressing into the cushion, just bring yourself slowly back up. And you're going to, if you've got it available, you're going to sit all the way back into the back of your chair and let everything go. Just really lean back and enjoy that support. Gorgeous. We're going to do that one more time. So we'll start from a sort of really upright position. So moving perhaps away from the back of that chair for a sec. I'm going to do this next one without my cushion, just so that you can see the other variation. And we'll breathe in and exhale, and we'll just, it's almost like we've just done, especially if you've not got the cushion, just sort of sliding your hands towards your knees. But this time you are letting your spine just slowly, gently curve round a little bit. So we're trying to keeping that space between your chest and your chin, but it is okay to just drop the chin a little bit if that feels nice. Just taking some the slower you can, breaths. And imagining the breath really sort of widening across the back of your hips, the back of your ribs, the back of your shoulders. Lovely, everyone. And then we'll take a breath in, hands on the cushion or hands on the thighs. And then we'll breathe out and sort of push down through the hands just to support us as we roll up, and then sitting back all the way again, like you're letting it all hang out. Just resting there. You can take the cushion away if you would like now, or by all means keep it on your lap, or keep your blanket on your lap if you want that extra warmth. Definitely, if you want to stay leaning into the back of your chair, stay a little bit more softer, a little bit more relaxed. And we're going to just bring the focus back to a little bit more of an intentional breathing exercise. So we're just going to slightly change the way that we're breathing, just to sort of tap into for the last few minutes, that relaxation response that we hope to sort of just stimulate a little bit in our body and in our nervous system, especially once we've done the work as such. So eyes can be closed, eyes can be open. That is entirely up to you. Or even if you decided that you wanted to transition from sitting to laying on the floor or in a bed, this might be nice. So you can feel free to shift around if you like. So we'll just take a couple of sort of normal, uncontrolled breaths together, just to sort of let the breath just be natural. Good. And we're going to work just with a breathing exercise called Sami Vritti. Vritti means the same or equal in the Sanskrit language. So we're just going to work with bringing a balance to our inhale and our exhale. So often we've extended the exhalation, which can be really a lovely way of practicing. Today we're just going to bring a bit of balance in. So I'm going to count us for a few rounds, and then as we normally do, I'll count a few and then I'll try and stop talking. So you can maybe find your own rhythm and just count in your head on your own. If at any point focusing on the breath in this way or changing your breath in this way gives you any sort of extra feelings of anxiousness, or it feels triggering, you just please don't need to persevere or push through. Take care of yourself and just take your focus. Something physical like the feet on the ground, or maybe the hands, just kind of texture of the hands together, or maybe you're taking your focus to that plant on the windowsill, or that whatever, that dot on the wall or something. So we'll start with a count of 3 in and 3 out, okay? And then if you're feeling like that's a bit slow or that's a bit fast, when I'm quiet, you can go, right, I'm going to go 4 in, 4 out, or 2 in, 2 out. So I'll start and you can catch in, join in, whenever you feel ready. So breathing in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3. In, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3. In, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3. In, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3. You can pause it there, or you can take just a few more on your own. And then when that next exhale comes to the end, you're just going to let that go. Let your breath do what it wants to again. Maybe let your focus or your attention just wander a little bit. And is there anything that you can do in this next couple of moments that just make you feel a little bit more, even 1% more comfy? So anything you can add in or anything you can adjust that might just increase your comfort by a little smidge. And if there is, maybe you take that and you do it and you allow things to settle, eyes closed or eyes open. Just take a little moment here, maybe a minute. You don't need to be still. Your body can fidget as much as it needs to. But just sort of allowing yourself to soften again back down into your chair. Take in what you've done. Take in your effort and your achievement of showing up, of really intentionally and mindfully connecting to your body and connecting to how you feel. It's no mean feat, and I really do mean that. We always end our sessions with an invitation just to bring into your mind something that you're grateful for in this moment, if you can find something. And if that's an invitation that you'd like to take up, just bringing something to your mind's eye now, imagining that it was just right there in front of you. Maybe there's this feeling of warmth or joy or ease as you imagine that thing, inanimate or living and breathing, small, big. And maybe our intention is that we just keep a little bit of that feeling that's been produced from that moment of gratitude with us. We head off into the rest of the day, into the rest of the week.